Fujifilm just announced a new camera, and it's the sequel to the X-E4, which I think is the only Fujifilm camera that I've never actually used. So I've been daily using the new Fujifilm X-E5 for the last 2 weeks now. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do. I haven't talked about it all that much on the channel, but my second sort of B camera for the last 6 months to a year has been an X100VI. The X-E5 kind of solves my only gripe with that camera, which is sometimes I want to shoot with a wide angle and sometimes I want to shoot with a longer lens. Pretty obvious take, I know. The only X-E camera that I've really used up until now is the X-E3. I actually bought one for my dad, and sometimes I pick it up on his office shelf, and it feels a little bit fiddly, it feels quite small in the hand. And I actually took the X-E5 with me to one of our latest Framelines community meetups. We met up with 40 other photographers in central London, went for a photo walk, ended up at the pub, and I handed off the X-E5 to a few people, and it was a similar consensus to me, really. It feels very premium, it feels like a much more solid camera, and the high specs on it make it a much more serious stills photography tool. So if you're like me and you do change between two cameras often, or you run two cameras at the same time, you quickly realise that there is a really big benefit for them both having the same sensor. When you're editing the files, you know how the colours behave. You can very easily get a consistent look between them. If you're maybe shooting a job or a bigger event and you want to take both cameras, you really have no worries shooting with both and just processing them exactly the same way when you get home. And yeah, I've really come to be very familiar with this 40 megapixel Fujifilm sensor. I've been shooting on it a long time. I really know how the colours behave. I know how I like to edit it. I know how to get the results that I want from it. So pairing the X-E5 with the X-T5 the last couple of weeks has been really fun. And I've basically only used one lens on the X-E5, which is the 35mm f2, the 50mm equivalent, which I think is probably one of my favourite Fujifilm lenses. I've used it so much. I think ultimately this is a conversation about being a bit more thoughtful with your camera choices. I really thought the X100VI would be my daily go-to do-it-all camera. But unfortunately, it's just transpired that 35mm field of view isn't what I want to use most of the time. Recently I had a birthday party for my son, and we had a load of kids around, and I was taking pictures the whole time, but just using the zoom lens at the wide end. So at the 24mm field of view and getting from a low angle, and just was really fun, you know, getting from the kids' perspective. The 24mm adds loads of drama, it makes it really fun, it makes it really playful, you can fit lots of people in the frame. And I really like doing that more, and I feel like 35mm as a focal length is a little bit restrictive sometimes. I realise it's a bit confusing, I keep chopping and changing between talking about the field of view and the actual lens. So the 35mm f2 from Fujifilm is actually a 50mm equivalent lens, which I think is great for portraits, but the X100VI lens is a 23mm, so 35mm equivalent, which I'm finding a little bit restrictive, a little bit not quite right for me at the moment. It's really cool to see Fujifilm experimenting with design and new features in a way that other camera manufacturers aren't. So this new film sim dial on the top, it's a really distinctive design choice, but I think it's really cool to experiment on the fly like this. This is also the first time they've kind of acknowledged recipes, the sort of fan-made recipes that you can do with Fujifilm cameras. Dial in your own custom look, dial in your own custom settings. And on this film sim dial, I think there are actually 3 notches on which you can save your own custom recipe, whether it is spaghetti bolognese, vegan lasagna, or chipotle mayo. They've also added this new classic viewfinder mode to the EVF, which is meant to replicate, you know, old film cameras, kind of like from the 90s and 2000s, giving you that analog style numbers and the needle for exposure. It's a cool little feature. I really like this way it simplifies the viewfinder. The viewfinder can get a bit cluttered sometimes. There's really only a couple of things you actually need to be able to see and know when you're taking a picture. So I like that they've implemented this. It just shows that they're just throwing in these new cool little features that add up to a more analog style shooting experience in your digital camera. I think that's what they're trying to get back to, is stripping away all the complication and just making it about the experience of shooting stills, which I'm definitely all about, even when I'm trying to juggle making a YouTube video at the same time. So this camera really took me by surprise, actually. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do. Thought the X106 was my, go-to daily carry, but the XE series could be quite interesting. I like how compact it is. I like how premium it feels. Yeah, it feels like a real step up from the XE3. It feels like a much more serious camera. The high resolution sensor opens up so much flexibility. Great video specs if you need to take some video. And the film sim dial just invites a bit of creativity, invites me to think a bit more seriously about recipes. I kind of never really thought about recipes before. I'd always thought I had to edit all my raw files, but I can dial in a look that's so close to how I want my photos to look. It is quite appealing to reduce the faffing around in Lightroom afterwards and to be able to experiment on the fly with different looks. I found myself using Astia and Nostalgic Neg really often and flipping between the two. It's really fun to see how they can change the way a scene feels. The X-E5 is a just really nice camera to hold. I actually think it's probably one of the best looking cameras that Fujifilm make at the moment. The top plate is just super pleasing. Oh my God, is this dog gonna get my camera? So that embarrassing run, walk, whatever that was, to rescue my camera from a dog, seems like a great place to round off the video. If you want to find out if the dog did get my camera, you'll have to join our Patreon. We have a private Discord. We set monthly street assignments for our community. We do regular in-person meetups. It's a really cool thing. It's a really great group of people. Everybody's very chill. Everybody's very friendly. We usually end up at the pub, sometimes have a few drinks. It's a good vibe. In terms of the X-E5, I'm pretty sure I'm going to pre-order one. Not 100% sure. We'll find out if I make more videos with it, I guess. I know it seems a bit strange that I've just realized that the X106 is a fixed lens camera, but until you kind of have such a similar shooting experience with a more modular system, you then kind of realize that, oh yeah, I do like flexibility. I mean, I've made so many videos about different lenses, so it's not a massive surprise. Thanks for watching along. If you enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up. Please subscribe. It all helps the channel. See you in the next video. See you in the next video? Well, you'll see me in the next video. I need to just stop recording. I'm going to turn this off.